Hi, good morning. I think we can kick off the session now. Good morning, everyone. I'm still waiting for our guest speakers, the representative from our startups, to join our panel talk. So while they're entering, it's been my maybe 10th time to say this. Good morning, everyone, again. Very welcome to today's Info Day, and thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us. I'm Xianshu Zeng, project manager of ISDI Accelerator and also of IMPACT EdTech program. We are also here with Alice Carrasco, our communication manager from ISDI Accelerator, Juan Manuel, our technical support, who is going to be our strong backup for this whole session. We are also together here with our representative of our most successful startups of other programs, for example, Robot Union, Mobile, etc. So they are Jerome Fransen, CEO from Revisely, David Rovira, co-founder of Rigitech, Enzo, Zamora, co-founder of Homyhub. So we're very proud to present you the EdTech program, and today's agenda, we are going to share some more information about the open call, and we will have our startups to share their takeaways with you to see how to make the best out of our program, the acceleration. Sorry, I just make sure that you guys can all see me. Yeah, so we are also together with where are we? Yeah, we are going to have our representative from the most successful startup to share their takeaways to how to make the best of the acceleration program. And also we will have a very short live Q&A session to solve any potential doubts that you can have. So time is short, let's just get started. I prepared a short presentation to give high-level overview of the IMPACT EdTech program. If you guys have known that we also held an info session to explain the technical details in the last 2 weeks. So here we are going to be more focused on sharing experiences, have a high overview of the timeline of this program, share the useful takeaways and do's and don'ts how to in this acceleration program, and then the Q&A. So let's take the presentation. Let me share my screen. So here we present you the IMPACT EdTech program. As you can see, it is a hybrid incubation and acceleration program founded by the European Commission. So who are IMPACT EdTech? We are a consortium of 3 partners who have their different role. European SchoolNet, as you can tell from its name, is actually the education stakeholder engagement enabler. They are the school network for all schools that you can think of over Europe, and they'll also be responsible for the POC in Strand A in the settings like future classroom lab validation. And then it comes as ISDI Accelerator. If you get selected in our program, then we will have a lot of time to work together. We will take care of all the acceleration process, and we will also be supporting you in the POC, in the strand fee, the digital learning for all, that all the different solutions, EdTech solutions. And we also have Funding Box, who will be taking care of the open call management. So they also hold information webinars to solve all your technical doubts that you might have in application. And also they are leading the evaluation process. In terms of the objective of this program, you will have a very, as you can see, that it's a selective process, and in the end, you will be able to get up to 195,000 equity pre-funding. And also, it's the program for 9 months that will help you to work all the way through your product up to MVP. And your product will have the opportunity to get validated with teachers, schools, or any other educational settings. Here, this graph gives you a very clear idea about the stages that we have. Currently, we are now in the open call. We are now in the 2nd month of the open call, so you still have plenty of time to apply. And then we will have 1 month of selection, 1 month of mentor matching to help you to get the best mentor to help you develop your product and your business model. And then the first phase is the MVP testing, which is the incubation phase. Then when you have your MVP, you will get selected for the 2nd phase. So as you can see in the 3rd line that we have, it's a selective process, which means that according to which stage that you get to, you will have different amount of equity pre-funding. So good luck. For more details, we have supplementary sessions. As you can see, that in next week, we are going to have another webinar to solve any application details. For example, does my company fit into the eligibility criteria? Is the solution fit to the challenges? Questions like this, Lucy will be in the next week's webinar to solve any doubts you have. And otherwise, we have the 24/7 support for you, which is our app website. You're invited to check out the website, www.impactedtech.eu, and where you can download the full guide for applicants. There you can have all the information you need for this application. So here comes our most important and interesting part. It is our panel talk and experience sharing sessions with our most proud alumni from other programs. They are, again, Jerome Frandsen from Revisely. They are also an education app, and then he will tell you more about his company and experiences and takeaways. And we also have David Rovira, co-founder of Rigitech, and Enzo Zamora from Homyhub. I'm very proud to have them here. And from here, I think I'll leave the floor to our startups, and then for later we'll have the Q&A. So, Jeroen, I give the floor to you.
Well, thank you, Xianshu. I hope you can all hear me. Is this working, Xianshu?
Yes, let me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
I can hear you.
Great. Thank you so much. It's really a privilege to be here. We were in IMPACT Accelerator, so that's the predecessor, in 2014. So that's a while ago. We are an EdTech. I'll put my presentation on screen in a second. But I just wanted to also share that, like I feel I have, like we're living in times of Corona. And what we are seeing is that EdTech is a key pillar that society is depending on now for distance learning, and that feels like there's finally a lot of attention for EdTech. But I'm also seeing that distance learning is setting apart some students that have from students that don't have. So I just want to invite the whole EdTech community to also take that into account when you're building your solutions. Make sure that everybody has the same chances. That's it. I'm just gonna share my screen with you. Yeah, I think that's sharing. So I hope that's coming across. So my name is Jerome Frandsen. I'm one of the founders of Rovira, and at Rovira we help teachers to give feedback on documents, on papers, essays, etc. We started in 2014. We were in IMPACT Accelerator in the first batch after we had founded the company together with the Minister of Education, Jeroen, Minister of Education of the Netherlands and former Vice President of the World Bank. We're an international team, we're a Spanish-Dutch team, half-half. We work from home, so in that sense, Corona didn't catch us with a big surprise. The company itself is based in the Netherlands, but as I say, we're an international team. And we co-created our tool, our online correction tool, feedback tool, together with teachers from countries. I think that's... Okay. I can't see what the questions are because I have a full screen presentation. I don't know if something's going wrong, but otherwise I'll just continue. So there's we have over 200,000 users right now, and we are going to break even this year. Again, this is EdTech. If you're just starting your EdTech startup, be prepared for a long time to break even, long sales cycles, but also lots of satisfaction from what you're actually doing, because it is technology for good. The problems we're trying to solve is, on the one hand, growing teacher shortages in all over the world. So in, for example, the Netherlands, there's enough teachers around, but they're not in the right places, let's say. So we're trying to bring together the teacher with the work without them having to move. And on the other hand, every teacher has a large workload reviewing papers and letters and essays and stories all over the year, and this workload is actually causing a lot of burnout and people getting sick from the amount of work. So we said, this is what correcting traditionally looks like on paper. We built a nice online tool that works on any device, and that you can use from anywhere, and it's integratable in your learning management systems, etc., which gives you the possibility to give really superior feedback to your students. Just to give you an idea of where we stand right now, we were incubated and accelerated in 2014 and 15, and after that we did the accelerator specifically for EdTech ex-edu from Finland, where we just closed a major contract with the main LMS of the Netherlands for secondary schools, and we're working on other contracts internationally. So it's really taking off for us now. And in the meantime, we won a nomination for a prize for the next billion EdTech prize, etc. And that's a little bit where we stand right now. Like, just to gonna switch back to screen without sharing. Hold on. Just checking if there were any questions right now already. So we did IMPACT in 2014, 15. We had an excellent experience with our mentor, Miguel Angel, who's now, of course, leading IMPACT. He didn't have any knowledge specifically about EdTech, but he had so much experience as an entrepreneur that it was very good to exchange experiences with him, relate to the ups and downs, and that is really a lot of what mentoring for me is about. If they can understand what you're going through as a startup and as an entrepreneur, that is half the sorrow, let's say. The other thing I really enjoyed and I really needed is the international collaboration, the community that you build up through IMPACT. So we, of course, we had a physical experience. Our start was in Barcelona with the whole program of IMPACT. And we really bonded with a number of other startups that were not in EdTech, but with one of them, I'm still working together to launch Revisely in Italy pretty soon, for example. So the international collaboration, the team spirit of with other startups, that was really important, and the international collaboration atmosphere absolutely was a highlight. So with that, I'm going to give back to Xianshu.
Thank you so much for the introduction and experience sharing. Now we welcome David to share the Rigitech and to the exciting activity they are doing. Just a side note that you're also welcome to leave a comment or leave any questions in the chat area that we will follow up after this presentation. Okay, so David, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you, Xianshu, and thank you, Jeroen. Thank you very much for all being here. I'm excited to talk about our startup. We are currently in Robot Union, so we're in the middle of it, experiencing the great program that is in there. I will show you a video first to explain a little bit what we do, and then I'll go through the slides. Hold on one second. Let me do that again, because apparently the sound is not on. My bad. Okay. So as you could see, basically we are a drone delivery company. Just gonna go through my presentation here. We're called Rigitech. Rigi comes after a mountain. It's a question that we get a lot. It's a mountain in Switzerland. We were founded back in 2018. We're a hardware and software company. We developed the entire system, drones that are made exclusively for long-range deliveries. Our main mission is to create networks to connect cities and to have a full integrated drone delivery solution to make goods accessible for everyone, even in hard-to-reach areas. Our main product is called the AirBridge, which is a point-to-point delivery network. Basically, you have a line between 2 points that can cross over any geography with a drone that flies back and forth in a matter of minutes. We can, as you will see later, we can cross up to 80 kilometers distance with a drone. The drone is a hybrid model between an airplane and a helicopter. It can actually fly vertically, take off and land vertically, and fly as an airplane with the wings. That's how we reach 80 kilometers. As I was saying, we also develop the whole software systems. We need to integrate our drones into the airspace. So basically, we're developing the software that in which we talk and see other airplanes, other helicopters in the sky. We track the drone, we track the package, we track the temperatures of the package, and we give support to our clients. The idea is that we'll build networks of routes all over to connect different cities and to give the same access to goods wherever you are. As I was saying before, we're part of Robot Union right now. It's been a huge journey since 2019. We had the 2 camps, which were a blast. I was not in the first one. My other co-founder was part of the first one in Odense, and now we're part. I took part in the one in Madrid. We had 50 hours of mentorship already with very high level mentors. I will talk to them about them later. And we also got direct investment, which as a newly created startup is everything that you might need to boost and to start working. The key elements of the program that I wanted to point out were learning. There's not many accelerators out there that are basically targeting robotics and targeting hardware. It's a whole different world, and in here we found that part. We found people that were actually in the same business as we are, with the same problems, and the mentors understood them. They were helping us not only to grow as a startup with the knowledge of them having created a startup, but also with the knowledge of them having created a robotics startup in that field. So all the problems that you're encountering through that journey, they already solved it in a way or another. So their experience was very focused to our needs. And we also had something that was important, was a pitch rehearsal individual sessions. So we had several pitches during the 2 camps, but also I got the chance to get my pitch rehearsals with a dedicated mentor for a few times. That was actually changing, modifying until we had a pitch that we could go out there to raise some more funds, and we just made it. So we raised the last round. So in part, this thanks to the program that it's pushing us and helping us. I think we in the mentorship program, not only the mentors were, as I was saying, good in understanding that sector, but also they were potential clients. I was amazed on our first mentor that we had, which came from a laboratory diagnostics field, which is our main focus as a company. We want to transport lab samples between laboratories. And so Robot Union and IMPACT, they found an executive from a major laboratory group in Europe that opened the doors to many of their offices to us, and we're now in partnerships and discussing contracts with them. Unfortunately, with this COVID crisis, she had to leave, so we were very sad about it. She will probably come back once the crisis is over. But in the meantime, IMPACT put us another mentor, which also amazed me. We have now a mentor that comes from Maersk, which is one of the biggest boat companies that has been in DHL, and that is now part of another transport company that knows everything about logistics, all the pain points, all the contract writing, everything that you need to take into account to actually grow your business. That is only my dedicated mentors. I've had so far 10 hours of other mentors, specific for some stuff. So as you go in the journey, sometimes you need to focus more in your marketing strategy and develop it. I'm not a marketing expert, so I needed a lot of help on that side. And we had 3 different people talking to us in an individualized session, giving us tips and just shaping the way that we needed to go forward. So far, this program has been a blast. We're very happy. We hope to continue with it until December. And I encourage everyone to take part on these kind of programs. It's just amazing. And also, I would say that it, if you allow me to say that, it kicks your ass a little bit, meaning that you need to be also active in that program. It's not I sit down and I hear my mentor. The mentor is asking you to deliver things every week. So you need to work towards that, and that working towards your mentor session allows you to structure what you're going to say and structure what are the steps that you need to take, and it helps you think about it and helps you shape it and learn through that process. So yeah, it's been great, and I hope to continue here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Davis, for the kind word. We are so happy that you were very happy with the journey, and yeah, like the more exciting events are ahead of us. So just taking this opportunity to remind you guys that we also have an afternoon session today, and it's going to be the same link. So after this session, don't forget that we have another part to talk with our educational ministries. So again, I will give the floor to Enzo from Homyhub. They have a very interesting application, and maybe you already seen it. Enzo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Xianshu. Let me share my video now. So now you can see me. So good morning, everyone. First of all, thanks for IMPACT and ISDI to count on us again on sharing our experience during the program. In our case, we have been part of IMPACT Connected Cars. So we were part of the 2018 cohort. And you will see why we were part of IMPACT Connected Cars in a while, and in just a few minutes with a video. And after the sharing my video, I will also share my great experience that I have during that, and what actually all the benefits we got during the acceleration process during IMPACT. So one sec, I will show you a video so you can understand what we do, and after that we talk about the benefits. So hopefully you can see my screen, and you can just...
There are more than 125 million garages in Europe and USA alone, including more than 9 million that we find in Spain. Basically, there are garages everywhere. In Homyhub, our mission is to unlock the full potential of garages to make them a valuable space in people's lives. We make garages smart, really smart. First, by turning your smartphone into smart garage remote, and then creating a marketplace of new generation services, like deliveries, sharing economies, or connected cars. Our starter kit can be installed by anyone in any garage in just a few minutes, making you forget the issues, limitations, and security risk of remotes by changing your garage remotes from this to this, making your life simple, convenient, and safe. Through our app, you can open the garage from the smartphone, no matter where you are. Thanks to our virtual remotes, you can give and personalize the access the way you need, unlimited, by days, and even by hours, with just one simple click. And by the way, thanks to our proximity opening feature, you can enter the garage without taking your hands off the wheel. You're welcome. But we didn't stop here. Using the accessibility of garages and the power of Homyhub, we have built a marketplace of new generation services. This is the reason why we won not only 5, not 10, but 15 national and international awards. The first category of our new generation services is secure delivery. Here, thanks to the integration of couriers to the Homyhub platform, we are turning the garage of single-family homes into a secure delivery point at any time, allowing unattended deliveries to happen.
Con Homyhub, literalmente convierto mi garaje en un buzón. Gracias al servicio de entrega en garaje, recibo lo compro online en casa de forma segura, mientras que mi mujer y yo trabajamos.
By enabling this service, we are solving an increasing global issue for the users and the couriers, the failed deliveries. Reason why we got the interest of Correos, the biggest courier in Spain, resulting in a successful pilot and leading to national and international press talking about us and the service.
La alianza entre Correos y Homyhub es una historia de éxito que culminó el año pasado con un proyecto piloto de entrega efectiva en garajes. Con eso hemos conseguido reducir nuestros costes de entrega, problema crucial en la logística, y además mejorar nuestra huella de carbono, problema crucial en la sociedad.
All this would have been possible without our solid, diverse, and really smart team. Actually, we're a family now. Together, we have raised more than 150,000 euros, developed our full product, tested among 500 users, and most importantly, due to our successful pilot with Correos, we have gathered a commercial contract for the launch and also the interest of other big brands. And now we're ready to launch. Hence, we're raising this round.
That was intended because it was a video for our successful. Can you hear me? Can you hear me again back? Yes, everything's okay now. So that was a video of our investment round last year that we successfully and luckily raised. And actually, it's one of the key points I wanted to highlight. Thanks to Impact in this case. So now that you know better than that we do, the connection between connected cars. I mean, in that video for the round, we highlighted our approach with last mile, in this case with secure deliveries, because it was the most mature service we got on that time for the round. But we also have a category which is connected cars, and where actually the program of Impact Connected Cars help us to connect directly with the biggest manufacturers in the sector. And thanks to them, actually, when I said in that video that all the big brands are joining us, is because through the program, in this case, we got one of the mentors that was directly related with the Volkswagen Group. Was one of the C-level directors of the Volkswagen Europe in Spain and part of Europe. And thanks to them, we're actually working closely, and very likely I will be able to make some announcements by the end of the year, by the end of this year, with the work we're doing with them. No? So this is one of the key points of one of the things we got during Impact Connected Cars. In our case, the direct relationship with the stakeholders from the sector, not only with Volkswagen, but also with other people in the sector and other companies. And another thing that is key, and I think is even more important sometimes, was a network we built among other entrepreneurs, because that's a typical thing that you don't know in there earlier or sooner or later it will pay you back. So the stronger the network you get, most of the time is not who you are or what you're doing, it's who you know. And this is another thing that Impact brings you along, is to make sure you build a network of all the entrepreneurs doing an interesting or similar, or not similar. It doesn't matter if they are not similar to yours, but that will give you, quite sure down the road, a way to get to more people, more contracts, and so on. As one of the previous speakers said, again, this is something that Impact will put a lot of resources on your hands, but you do have also to be active. So building a network is something that, in my case, you also have to be proactively knowing who is working along with you in the acceleration process, and make sure you build your network. So after the program, you will have that already secure, and you can take the profit out of that, not only during the program, but also along the way. In our case, of course, investment, equity-free investment was another key part. And I think I have nothing to say here because everyone knows a huge benefit of that, and even more when you're early stage. And actually, again, this helped us to move on until we're well ready for our seed round, which is key, because in Europe, unfortunately, compared to USA, early stage area or pre-seed funding is harder and harder to get. So this is one of the key benefits that a program like Impact gives you, which is that stage where it's not that easy to find private funding. They're providing you, in this case, not only funding, but equity free, which is like the best of the best in this case. And for last, of course, mentors and investors, right? So we talk about mentors. In our seed round last year, we were looking for 350K. We raised double it. We raised a 700K round between private and public funding last year. And part of our investors, actually, one of the majority tickets from our round was coming from the Easy network. So Easy has an investment club that actually now is more formalized. And one of the key tickets from last year came from the network, plus the contact with other investors that also joined our round. So what I wanted to highlight with this is, like, even though our program ended up in 2018 and our round was in 2019, thanks to that link of Impact, we also were able to take part of the investment from the round of this. And actually, to close, if I'm not wrong, we did our round on Crowdcube, which is an equity crowdfunding round, and we got a special deal on the commission fee that a Crowdcube usually charges to entrepreneurs when they want to do a round. And this was one of the perks we got through Impact in this case. So in our round, the fee that Crowdcube, the platform, charges to us, I don't remember it was the exact amount, but it was lower than the market average they offered to other ones, and this also came through the acceleration process. So with this, I mean, I will close because I can talk forever, and I'll be open to questions at the end if you have any, and I will happy to share and help any of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Enzo, for the very interesting sharing and stories. So I think I'm going to take the floor to have a little bit of guided talk to explore deeper about all the successful stories. So I'm very happy to hear that there's so many highlights and so many interesting moments and so many interesting connections about the right person at the right moment. So I would like to know a little bit more about like the very, very highlight moment that you remember in our acceleration program. So maybe I can first ask David about this question, like the really highlight moment that comes up to your mind first time. David?
Sorry, I was muted. Basically, I think it's difficult to find a moment. I think the camp in Madrid is my highlight. That's where we met, at least I met the rest of the startups, seeing the stages that they are, just relating in most of the problems that we had together and how people were thinking differently on how to solve them. I think that for me was the highlight. And plus we had fun as well after work. So it was a good times.
Yeah. Like David mentioned, in all the acceleration program, apart from all the mentoring sessions, that's most likely will happen online because we have this localization methodology that to enable to unlock the potential of network all over Europe. So the sessions are actually happening in a virtualized way. But to combine, we also recognize that the face-to-face interaction is also important. This is where the bootcamp comes in. We always organize a 3 to 5 days intensive session for the offsite bootcamp with different topics that you will have intensive training from professors all over Europe. And in the same time, like David mentioned, we also organize a very fun night out for startups to be able to know each other better and do the networking. So yeah, I think the next question I would really ask Jeroen, that you mentioned that you had a very nice relationship with your mentor, and Miguel, although he's not an entrepreneur in the edtech sector, but his experience of entrepreneuring for such a long time really helped you to solve some problems. Could you dig a little bit deeper in that aspect so that we know more about your mentor journey?
Yeah, sure. Actually, the experience with Miguel Angel was so good because while he was mentoring us, he was still very much in his own startup, and he had been for quite a few years. And well, I don't know which percentage of the listeners is already in a startup or has maybe done a previous startup. But startup life has a lot of romantic sides, I would say. You have a lot of independence. It's your baby. If it's a success, it's really your success. So there's a lot of positive sides to it, but there's also the heavy moments. When you receive a no from an investor, when you receive a no from a potential client, or when you still can't get those pilot schools identified. And if you then can talk to somebody who's been there and come through it alive and successfully, like Miguel Angel, that really helps because it relativate things, and it can also help you, like a good mentor helps you through those difficult moments, and gives you tips on, other approaches, thinking out of the box kind of things, because you get, as an entrepreneur, you could say it's laser focused, sometimes you're obsessed, which means that you are a bit narrow-minded sometimes, and it helps to just mirror a little bit with a mentor who can take you out of that.
Thank you so much, Jeroen, and so sharing your interesting and very nice relationship with your past mentor, Miguel Angel, who also is currently our director of the ISDI Accelerator. I'm pretty sure that he will be so happy to hear these comments. I'll share the video later with him after the session.
Excellent choice of director.
Yeah, just like Jeroen mentioned, that we have a very careful selection process and a very, we call it smart matching process when we are trying to decide who is the appropriate mentor for our startups, because we value the expertise and background of the mentor, and we do understand, and we really take a lot of effort to understand the needs of the startups, because I think that is our base zero. Because if we don't know what the needs of the startups, we won't know which mentor is the best for the startup. So we took our effort to, and we have a very carefully calibrated mentor database to make sure that the mentor is of high caliber, but it's also like kind of customized for your business needs at the moment when you just joined our program. So I think the very, very last question I have to ask to Enzo, because you emphasize so much about the journey, that how connected cars help you find the right person, and how that about who you know helps you to nail down, also almost doubled your seed funding. Can you share us with more on that aspect so that we know more details?
Sure. Well, so on the first part, again, the matchmaking during the impact. Again, this is a clear example that the picture or the result is not a fixed solution. It's not a square solution. For example, in our program, the main partner in that time was PSA, right? The group Peugeot, Volkswagen, and Citroën. But the network inside was broader than that. So they had people from other car manufacturers, right? In this case, even though the main one was Peugeot, we ended up having a higher matchmaking with the people from Volkswagen, in this case, which in this case was one of the mentors in the matchmaking process, Impact assigned to us, right? Because we were, again, as Xianshu just said, it's a process of continuous feedback, right? Saying, okay, well, initially we were, they don't have the same vision with us and so on of what a smart mobility will turn out. So therefore they say, okay, no worries, well, let's try now with these people from Volkswagen. So they brought Volkswagen, and in that process it was like we got in love, to say so in some way, right? So that was one key thing to highlight, that even though the main partners are not maybe the best part, the network is so broad that you can get with other partners down the road. And actually, David also highlighted that in that process, of the matchmaking process. And regarding the investment process, again, investment is a battle that every startup has to fight. From my case, from my opinion, in this battle, the most quantity of resources and the higher, of course, you have to have a very clear strategy on the process. You will find out every company has their own, but the great point of Easy on an Impact in this case, what a big part of our resources we took from our campaign, as we call it, raise funding campaign. We took it out from what we built on the Impact network. Again, not only from I highlighted in that case from the investment club that Easy in this case has inside, but also with the perks from CrowdQ, but also indirectly from the peers from our Impact community on that time. One of the investors we got, now I'm remembering, it got through EcoCar, who was another startup that was with us in the program. So again, we as in the program, there are similar startups, because again, in your case will be EdTech. Maybe in some of you will do racing before others, So at the end, that network will also help, because those investors that invested in startup like yours very likely can also invest in the other ones along the way. So that's another way to catalyze or to take the most out of a resource. In this case, networking that you will do. And actually, in this part, I also agree with David. And one of the best moments, I enjoy the whole acceleration, but the best moments were also when you're personally meeting with in the boot camps with your peers in this case, because you will strengthen the bone, and you actually share a lot with them, and therefore you got contact. Like we are actually about to make a very big deal with another big company. We just closed a deal, which is Iberdrola, and very likely we're summing up one of the partners, one of the alumni from Impact on this deal to us in this, like a joint venture between us and them. So this again the collaborative approach that I want to make. But my point as an entrepreneur, and this is not only on Impact Learn, you also have to do your work on the favor, right? The Impact will put the resources on your hands, and you have to make sure you exploit them, and this is on you, right? I mean, but I mean, when I'm talking to all the entrepreneurs that are listening to this right now, and I want to make sure they also understand that this is a double side work. Impact will put the resources, and you will need to make sure you are using them and taking the most out of them, because they are there. They're always there when you ask more. They also give you more. So it's like, okay, it's a continuous rollout of resources down the road.
Yeah, thank you. That is very interesting. Exactly. When you get the right resources, it's like the rolling of the snowball, and it's just getting like bigger and bigger and more impactful. And very happy to hear all these comments and nice words about the program. I think you already learned a lot, and I can see that in the live channels there are some questions. So maybe Alex, you can help us to see if we can have like maybe 1 or 2 questions answered by our startups. So maybe we can start with.
Hi, Alex here. So I'm having a look. In general, there's a few for Jeroen. So let's start with Jorge asking, what have been the major barriers for adoption by schools and teachers?
Yeah, thanks, Jorge, for that question. That's a very good question. If we had the perfect solution to that question, or the perfect answer, then of course we would all be huge companies. The difficult answer is that it depends on countries and regions. So the major barrier of entry is, I think I already answered in the chat. In general speaking, a lot of our solutions, which are going to be digital solutions, compete against the old way of working. So teachers were correcting text on paper, which worked fine for them, but it has a number of disadvantages, and you have to convince them of that yours is better than what they are doing right now. So you're always fighting against the current way of working. If you can show the right argument for that, then you're in. That said, I think it's really dependent on each country. Like in the Netherlands, you have to convince the teachers, and in other countries, you have to convince maybe a school district or a ministry, department of education, or sometimes a city. So it's you need to have arguments for all those actors in the game, in a way. But if you want to discuss further, feel free to contact me afterwards.
Okay, thanks. Just to let you know, I'm seeing nearly all of them at the moment for Jeroen. If you guys want to ask anything to Enzo or David, go ahead. We'll just keep on with the questions to Jeroen. So what was your background prior to launching your startup?
My background, by the way, I realize all the questions are for me, because I guess the people in the audience are EdTech companies or EdTech people or edu people. My background was with a previous educational startup, and for that with different consulting. I worked in the US, in Barcelona, in Netherlands, of course, in England. So I have a very mixed background.
Great. Also, Jorge asks, oh no, this is what you answered about the barriers. Yeah, the barriers. Okay, we'll skip that one. So, so Ricard asks that he understands that the documents are reviewed by teachers that are not the natural teachers of the learners.
Yeah, so I saw your question, Ricard. Thank you. The thing that this goes a bit more into the specifically what Revisely does. Maybe that falls outside the scope of this chat. I'm happy to answer by mail if you want. I'll leave my mail in the chat. But Revisely, generally speaking, Revisely has offers a feedback tool that the current teachers can use, and they save time and they add more quality. And we're building a platform where documents are reviewed by not teachers. So that's we offer both modalities. But I'll leave the mail. So.
Keeping on with Ricard's questions, how do the natural teachers keep control?
Yeah, I think that one is actually related to the question that Sophia asks a bit later on, I think. Like Sophia asks, what is the role of the teacher in the future in 20 years, for example? I am personally very convinced, and a lot of literature backs us up, that the teacher is going to have a very, very big role for a long time to come. And I think the teacher is going to be the leading person in education of lots of children for many years to come. We need to empower the teacher. So we need to support the teacher with the right simple technology, but also things like intelligence, etc. Just don't get in her or his way, because they have the social rapport, they have the overview of a class, they are very good at comparing different kids, and they're going to have a very important role. And that also goes within our application. So how do the natural teachers keep the control? Make sure that the natural teacher is the one who gives the feedback to the student, not the external corrector. So the teacher is always the person at the steering wheel.
Maybe just the last one, because we're already heading towards 12 o'clock. Okay. Maybe the last one of Ricard, like how do you approach schools or teachers directly?
Yeah, we do approach schools and teachers directly. You have to do that as a startup at the beginning. You need, and I can't stress it enough, you need to be working with schools, with universities, or whatever your target group is. Make sure that you have plenty of pilot schools or people, like schools that are willing to think along with you. It makes your solution better. It makes it easier to find the right sales arguments later on. And that said, for us, as I said, it didn't work to scale up sales through direct selling. So we are now partnered with the major LMS in the Netherlands. We're looking for the same thing in the UK, in Egypt, in other areas, because we realize that we are just a small company. We're not going to be able to visit every single school and every single university and every college in all those countries that we want to be in. And it's very good to partner with people and to realize that in our case, we are a point solution. So we solve a little point in the whole process. So it's good to integrate with comprehensive solutions that are bigger, or with publishers, for example. They often have a very like a broader look at education, and you can fit in there. So that will be my tip.
Okay, that's it, Xianshu, you can go ahead and keep on.
Thank you so much for the questions, and thank you so much for answer, because I'm imagining that this is the very direct and very special situation for EdTech, and they really have a lot of questions regarding how the startups can help and how it will go to shape the future industry point of view. I think we are hitting to the very end of this program, of this session. Thank you again so much for your time and for being with us. But I think at the very end, I would also invite, thank you again for our startups, and maybe at the very, very end, I can invite you to share one sentence just to summarize what you want to tell to the future EdTech startups interested in joining the acceleration program, like one sentence to drive inspiration. Maybe we can start with Jeroen again. Like one sentence to summarize, and to that, like give inspirations to future disruptors in the market.
Make sure that you build up a good network of peers, and that can be through impact. You're going to have a lot of fun, and you're going to have a lot of use for it.
Thank you. And David?
I would say go hard at it. Just take it seriously. It's a great experience. So if you're in, it will change the life of your startup.
That's very inspiring. Enzo, it's your turn.
One sec, I'm sure. Cool. Well, thanks, David and Jeroen, because it was, okay, I'm going to say this. Jeroen said, I'm going to say that. David said, it's like, okay. The beauty of being the last. But my point is, I mean, first, I agree with both of them, completely agree. And I will close with get ready to make the most out of the resources. Like they will be on your hands, so get ready to make the most out of it.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much. So at the very end, please allow me to share a very last slide, because we are everywhere, like in the virtual world. Please stay connected, join our newsletters and find us in Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And please do remember that in the afternoon at 4, we have another session to connect with our educators in institutions. And we also have a survey that will be sent to the very end of the event. And your opinion really values to us, and we would really appreciate that if you can answer the survey afterwards. So yeah, let's stay connected, and this is just the beginning of the journey.